What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I just want to get on here and bring everybody back to now. Appreciate y'all being here and vibing with me for a bit. Yeah, I want to talk about removing scarcity mindsets and how to recognize that in your own being when it starts to kind of bubble up and all of a sudden fears creeping in. Money and scarcity with money is a good example of fear, and how then all of a sudden you can start spinning down this path of scarcity based reactions instead of abundant reactions and prosperous reactions and helping others. Ultimately, if you got some big triggers about money, it's like, I don't need to make this bullshit, and oh, it's all fake, and everything else. It's like, I've been there. But change how you're interacting with it. Change your thoughts about it. Start letting go of these things that aren't serving you anymore. If it's like, if make money then about somebody else. If you can't do it for yourself, make it about others. Think about all the people you can help and all the people that you can bless, maybe in your family, your significant other, there's people in your town, your community, online friends. There's so many times I've seen people in the truth community just starving, like the starving artist bullshit, and it's like, you kind of let these things go, these blocks. Start thinking more in terms of the money. Is a result of your mindsets and your state of consciousness, and the more that you let go of these scarcity beliefs, and ultimately replace them with the reality of abundance, because you are one with the money. You're one with it. You aren't separate from these things. But the more that you let go of the kind of the stories we tell ourselves about it, that it has any type of power over you, that's where the mindset change needs to start really addressing these things. And you go within to do that. You don't need to go out here and say, oh, well, Mike said this. It's like, well, I did say this, but ultimately go within to see if it's real, see if it's true, test it. And it'll prove itself in the testing as you change your mindset about these things. Everything starts to change. And so like with money, changing how it being like, oh, I'm a slave to it, to all of a sudden I'm going to look at it differently. What's one way to do that? Well, looking at it as an investment, as a I support you note. You can define what it means. Money is based on faith. It's an energy. It's also symbolic and everything else. So change how you're defining it in yourself. Do that with God. Ultimately, go within and ask about these things. Because God's abundant, God's prosperous. All of it is His anyway, / hers. And so what is in oneness? What is this about? Start looking at it like that. But as like an entrepreneur, as somebody who I have a handyman business. I also have a music business. I see firsthand the power of people's support. It's like you could be sitting in a kind of a dire situation, and it's like, oh shit, having no one besides you and God to kind of provide for your family. Your relationship with money changes. And it's like, okay, every day I know, I got these things coming in. I got to pay this. I got to pay these people. I got to do this. I got to do this. And it's like, I don't got a paycheck, so I don't have any kind of frame of reference to like, what's possible to make this month, today. Ultimately, kind of bring it back to the, what's going on right now and what you can steward. But like, when you're sitting there just like kind of freaking out, spinning out in your mind with fear, and the next thing you know, you check your one of your balances or something, and boom, there's a couple $100 or whatever, and it's like, oh, thank God. That person didn't realize how much that just kept me going now another day, because it kind of gets in these flows of what's going on today. How do I break even today? How do I get in, how do I make enough to maybe go 2 or 3 days? How can I pay my obligations and keep going? And so looking at how you spend your money, the power in that. So many people, like, I don't know, they don't realize how much power they have just by your attention right now. Now I want to be more and more, maybe displaying gratitude, because I am thankful, that you're giving me the time of day, just to listen to what I'm saying, and because that in itself, human attention is the most valuable thing in this reality. And by you just being here and vibing with me, that in itself is a blessing. So I appreciate you being here. And yeah, but when you go into like a store or something, me and my family made this shift, getting out of the scarcity, I'm going to buy the cheapest shit, to I'm going to support local businesses, people that practice humane, like with our food, that practice humane treatment of animals. And we're not vegetarians, but like, yeah, I don't want the food, the animals had to suffer for unnecessarily. And that's not a judgment to others, that might need to buy, because they haven't built up that faith and that that belief that they can buy expensive food. It's like, I don't have the money for that, so I can't do that. It's like, that's fine. Just steward what you have. But, from where I've come from to now, there was a time I was like going to the food banks and shit. So it's like, I'm not sitting here judging anybody, just don't judge me either. But like, yeah, switching from just buying what you can and kind of progressing to, now I want to buy locally raised meat, where they're like grass-fed cows, and they got to go roaming around before they got, like a bullet in the head or whatever. And it's like, I like to support those kinds of businesses. I look at my money as ways to support somebody else's ambition, and I find that to be really helpful. And it's maybe not something people hear every day, but really moving that power, not outside, but within, and you make the choice how you're going to support somebody. You're not just reacting. You're not just being, tossed around the what people get tossed around in their minds, following trends and everything else, and just blindly just throwing money around. But it's more of, I'm going to take an active role in supporting these businesses. And if they're involved in shitty business practices, it's not on that business, it's on me, because of my mindset, I'm actually supporting these practices with my money. And so, really, looking at that dynamic shift of how am I going to invest in this, and everything's a return on the investment. It's like, if I want to support, maybe like organic or, quality, I like to buy things that, people put a lot of love into. It's like, you get furniture and stuff that's like new, and it's just put together with these shit materials in some factory somewhere. No one cared about it. It's just the cheapest, most convenient thing. And if you're into that, that's fine. I'm just not into that anymore, and more so each day. Really kind of like appreciating like the love that went into things at one point, and realizing that a lot of things do have love put into them, even if they are kind of like on a business model of scarcity, being the cheapest person around. And you can support that model, but one of the things I don't like about that model is then, the people that work in these environments, it's like, are they getting paid good? Are they just getting fucked around? Are they just being taken advantage of? I don't want people to be taken advantage of for me. So changing the mindset of like, I'm not going to buy the cheapest shit. I'm going to buy the best quality, the one that has the most value, the one that spreads the most love, the one that spreads, and you get to decide that. Stop going outside of yourself, looking at yourself like some poor little victim. You're powerful, and your attention is powerful. You got everybody in the world vying for your attention. You have the president that is doing everything that he can for your attention. think about how powerful that is. I mean, everybody wants your attention. Facebook wants your attention. YouTube wants your attention. Your job situation demands your attention. You know, so just sit, in peace, and you'd be amazed how many things start coming out of the woodworks to kind of get your attention. It's weird, but like the more that you take the power back though, and look at yourself, and not blame the outer, but just merely just look at it for optimization data, and get out of these what ifs of like, well, if I just had X amount of money in the bank, then I'll change how my behavior is. Then I'll just break out of these patterns, because the problem, so you got to change the state of consciousness first, and then the reflection will start to mirror that change as you let go of these blocks that are pushing what you actually want away from you. And what you actually want, you can redefine these. You can redefine everything. You can look at money as being freedom, on some level. If it's a trigger, what about it is triggering? You have to go within to figure that out. But ultimately, you can use money to make heaven on earth. That's all on you to do. That's not on anybody else. You can prove the model. Ultimately, that's what I'm working out, is more so each day, just proving this model that it works. And then others can be like, oh, well, if he can do it, and if I can do it, you can do it. And because I'm not doing anything special. I'm just connecting within, connecting with God, and just believing what God said is real. And if people think that's crazy, that's fine, but it's working. That's the other end of it. It's working for me all the time, continuously, more so each day. So it's like, how big of a thing, do you have to make before people, and that's like, that was almost one of the things that maybe is programming for me, is like, if you're going to be crazy, you got to be really good at something, otherwise they'll lock you up. So it's like, maybe that's just like a mindset I have. It's like, if I'm just really good at maybe playing my guitar, I can say all these ridiculously crazy things for people that just shatter their paradigm, and they just go, oh, he plays guitar good, so he can't be all that crazy. But who knows? It's like, it's not on you to try to change how people perceive you. A lot of times they see you through whatever veils they are carrying, and ultimately see you however they see themselves in a lot of different ways. But like, I just wanted to share that with you guys, share that kind of a shift in mindset, so you're letting go of a lot of these scarcity beliefs and really putting the power of money within you, and not outside of you. You're chasing these things. It's not enslaving you anymore. It's your freedom in, changing how your relationship is, when it comes to wealth or abundance, prosperity, all these words, what does that even mean? But like, it has to do more with just kind of your state of mind about it. It's like, oh, I have to use this bullshit, that means, nothing, and for the benefit of like the people that just created it up out of nothing. After a while, you can start to, if you're kind of like business minded, you start seeing how money is just created up out of nothing, in a lot of different ways, by bringing the imagined state into the physical, creating these systems, and how valuable, getting out of the egoic me mentality, and thinking more, how can I add a better frequency, how can I raise a collective vibe more so each day? How can I do that through a product or service or a lifestyle or business? All these things are stuff that you can control. You don't have any. There's really so many things that the mind tells us that are wrong and causing suffering, and let that shit go. Your dreams are your dreams. You're already one with them. It's already yours. It's not coming tomorrow. Rest in that right now. You are already successful. How does that feel? How do you think, with your dreams already being true? You've already hit it. You have everything in your power right now. Look around. Everything is there for your awakening to who you are. And with that, what does that mean? You can be fully joyful right now. You can be fully, safe, nothing to fear. You can exist in a fearless state where you don't have these nagging worries and concerns and this low grade tension. Just let all that shit go. Let it go more so each day, so you can resonate more and more in these higher states of consciousness and feel better, feel happier, feel more confident, feel all these different states that you actually are. You are these things. It's these limiting beliefs, these distortions, these things we tell ourselves that aren't true. And ultimately, that's the reality that we start to walk in through our perception. And as you change your perception, though, as you let go of the unreal, you start more so walking in the real, which love is the only thing that is real. And the more you start to make those inner decisions, I guess maybe is the way to say it, the more you see the consequence of those decisions playing out in your space and your perception. You change a thought or a belief or an assumption, you let it go. Most of this is letting go. You don't have to learn something new. The realization is, that you are already what you want to be. So the problem is that the limiting beliefs that tell you that you're not. And so hopefully that's a benefit for you guys that kind of vibe in, test that out, walk in that space. Now, just see what kind of resistance you start to feel when it comes to maybe feeling good, feeling joy, feeling abundant, feeling prosperous. Feel that way right now. And if you start to connect with that energy and you start maybe getting these mental programs that start racing in your mind that tell you every reason why you can't be happy right now, or you can't be free right now, or you can't be abundant right now, or you can't be any of these things that you actually are, that's what needs to be let go of. Because you are those things, and we're all connected. We're all one. And so, go within, ask, believe, receive. You'll get the answer. You have the connection to infinite intelligence within you. And the state of consciousness you start seeing, getting pushed out is more of a representation of that relationship. And, if there's something kind of crazy happening in that relationship, go within to kind of get it figured out. More than likely, it's just stuff to be let go of. These things that we believe that aren't true. And I want to share that with you guys so you can kind of vibe in that today. And other than that, I like to do these quote unquote random Bible verses. Nothing's random. God's 100% in control of literally everything and speaks to us in the moment. I just want to give God a chance to speak to you, who's ever listening now. Let's see what God's got to say. Romans 8:16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. There you go. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing, telling your friends, implementing some of these things in your own life, and vibing with me, and give me your attention, your love. I appreciate all that, and so hopefully I can give that back in a meaningful way. And so with that being said, I'm going to bounce. So thanks everybody for listening, and have a good rest of your now. And God bless.